Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Where's everybody? I know I'm late. I know I'm late, but it's been a day. I know I'm late, but it's been a day. And when I say it's been a day, it's been a day. It's been a day. What's up, y'all? If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, follow, set your notifications for when I go live. If you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you're watching, share, share, share. I got one topic I want to talk about, y'all. Just one tonight. But it's actually not one topic. It's it's a plethora of topics that's associated with one topic. That's a better way to describe it. What's up, y'all? I know this is for the late owls, for all the night owls, all the people that are not asleep. I'm gonna give y'all a couple minutes to get up here, and then we're gonna start running hour miles. About hour, I mean me, myself, and my mother self. Um, Actually, it's a little late, so I'm gonna just go ahead and get started talking. You guys see the title? It says North Carolina General Statute, or I should say House Bill 958. I know it's so much going on in so many parts of this country, especially as it pertains to people trying to prevent people from exercising their right to vote. That it's hard to keep up with all the craziness. So let me bring you guys up to speed. On Friday, Friday that just passed, a bill was leaked. The bill was 958, House Bill 958, and it was 30 plus pages. The bill was leaked, it was 30 plus pages, and it was literally a voter suppression like birthday party. It just looked like anything that had to do with restricting people's access, specifically Black people, marginalized people, and people, anybody that's not a potential or would look like a Republican voter. They were literally trying to strip, or still are trying to strip people's right away. 30 some pages got leaked on Friday. The state house didn't put the bill on the calendar until today. It got literally this afternoon. They put it on the calendar. They reduced the pages. It's now 14 pages. I'll text the legislation, or I'll put it in on my page, on my pages. But the problem is the language, how they're trying to restrict people's right to vote is crazy to me. And the problem with it is you have people that look like us that will tell you that they're not trying to restrict your vote, or that elections don't matter. If elections didn't matter, why are they sneaking bills? And I know they're sneaking them because they are literally tomorrow at 10 a.m., they're going to be discussing this in hearing tomorrow at the state legislature, which is why some of us are going up there at 9 a.m. to make sure that we make our voices heard. Tomorrow, that fast, they're already bringing it up. They're trying to do everything to restrict it. They are literally making it illegal. They're making it illegal. They're trying to make it illegal for county election board members or staffers to even try to increase voter participation. Not for a particular party. They can't even say anything about it in their capacity. They can't try to expand the vote for everybody. That's how restrictive they are. They are literally trying to prevent the county board, the state legislature. Listen to this, guys. They are saying it is illegal for county board members, for the voters registration. I'm sorry, from the elections board, staffers, or anybody that is employed to say, go vote. Imagine that. You are a county board member for the voters, for election, board of elections, and you tell somebody, be sure to vote. That is illegal. You could lose your job for saying that. Not go vote for said candidate or make sure you vote for a certain party. No, just saying go vote. They're also trying to issue statewide audits, mandated. They're making it easier for anybody to challenge ballots. They said public disturbance, disorderly conduct. Listen to me. They are punishing disorderly conduct. It's a misdemeanor to be disorderly. Disorderly to who? Their definition is so broad that anybody can say it's disorderly that don't agree with you. Their articulation, they snuck in some language about Confederate monuments too. Said you can't, if you deface a statue, I don't know what that's got to do with voting, but they snuck that in there. They snuck that in there. So if you're playing music and somebody don't like your music, is that disorderly conduct? Is that a nuisance? They are criminalizing voting. Oh, guess what else they did? If you are overseas voter and you've never been registered in North Carolina, if you've never lived in North Carolina, you can no longer vote in North Carolina via overseas voting. You can only vote in federal elections. They're making it easy to challenge. They're trying to lessen the days at which election staffers can cure ballots. Yo, we are not paying attention. Our strategies is to get black boys to boycott football. These people are literally stealing the election right now. They're codifying systemic racism through the vote. We are literally further back than we were in the 60s right now. And to be sneaky, the Republicans, this is what people aren't talking about, which is so dastardly about this. The Republicans, the way that they're going to get around not the Democratic legislature or leadership in the state not giving Trump administration or the federal government access to the voter roll, they are saying that it's mandated that we share our voter information with other states. So imagine if we share our voter information with the state that gives their voter file to Donald Trump. So they're basically allowing a way to give our voter file to the Trump administration without the Democrats at the state level that are in control. I'm talking about the governor and secretary of state, without them having a say in it. If we are sharing information with these people, they have the right to share with the federal government. They're also allowing people to challenge voters or reject voters whose name don't line up with the system. This is happening right now in 2026. And the only thing we heard from our side, has anybody heard anything about House Bill 958 in North Carolina? Not a single soul. Why are we not talking about what's going on right now? They got a bunch of laws now that are felony charges. They got misdemeanors, all associated with voting. And if your name don't match up with a system, then they can reject your ballot. But you know what they were able to do? Increase the pay for board. I don't have a problem with board members getting paid more, but guess who's in control? Guess who the majority of the board is now? Republicans. Because what the Republicans passed was they stripped the governors from having the right to choose who or the majority of the county board of elections. And they gave it to the state auditor. North Carolina state auditor is a Republican. So they gave them an increase in pay. We are not prepared for this moment. We are inadequately, we are not the people that this moment is calling for. We're not screaming about this. The world should be on fire right now. The world should be on fire. We're more excited about sports and championships and Stanley Cups or NBA championships than we are about people's right to the vote and their access to the ballot. We are sitting here as people who swear that we care about democracy, while these Republicans are stealing elections in our face, codifying systemic racism. This is a serious blowback to any victory that we may have think or thought we won. The happiness and the sharing and the joy associated with the Obama's presidency, when all of y'all took a break after that vote, where is it now? It is more dangerous now to try to vote as a Black person than it's ever been. These are your neighbors. These are the people that y'all said. Some of y'all said none of this would happen. Some of y'all said we were over exaggerating, stretching the truth. These people have went above and beyond what Project 2025 is. Project 2025 is small fries compared to what these people got going on right now. They are taking everything. They are taking everything. 14 pages of straight dastardly behavior. And this ain't gonna be the end. This ain't gonna be the end. This is how they sneaking things in. They are doing everything over and over, and we are fighting once. We're fighting once, and I had this conversation about it today. We're fighting as a reactionary task force. We're responding to what they're doing. We're not on the offense. Nobody on our side is planning what we need to do. You want to know how strategic they are? I ain't shared this with nobody, but this is some of the research I've been doing. Let me tell you how strategic these dastardly people are. In the Memphis district in Tennessee that they just cracked open, the ninth district. The ninth district in Tennessee, Memphis. And it was basically Memphis because majority of the people were in Memphis. There was a few people in Templeton County, but it was a Memphis district. Black men were 107,000 people in that district of the 479, which means 1 in 4 voters in the ninth, before Republicans redrew that district, 1 in 4 were Black men. Ask me how many Black men are in that district now. Less than 50,000. Less than 50,000. They took Black men from a close-knit voting bloc community and they spread them across 15 counties. They went from 2 close-knit counties that were right there that looked like people who had things in common in Memphis. In Memphis, they split them up. Now these people are across all these counties. Y'all make it make sense. They did the same thing in the fifth congressional district in Tennessee, which was Nashville, which had a significant Black population, not as much as Memphis, but a significant Black population, and it was brothers that were doing good. These brothers had different economic outcomes than the brothers in Memphis. You know what they did with some of those brothers that were missing, or some of those brothers that were in the Memphis ninth? Now these people are part of a district in Nashville. So imagine that you live in Memphis. For people that don't know Tennessee, Memphis and Nashville are not neighbors. They're more than 2 hours apart. So now they're in the same district. They're in the same district. Another district that was 6 counties close to Nashville, close to the economic center that was Nashville. Now they're spread out across, 15 or so counties. That's what they did. They took brothers who had a different lived experience, who have different problems, and put them with affluent brothers. So now you got 2 people that look the same, Black men with different economic situations, different competing interests, to do what? To do what? to have different ideologies, to have different desires politically, electorally. And then there's just 27,000 Black men that were in those two districts that are now just been moved to different districts. So missing, just gone. So Black men, if you combine those two districts, the ninth and the fifth, Black men were probably about 13 to 14% of their electorate. Now they lost 1 or 2% of their voting power. In the ninth, they lost more than that. But collectively, these two districts lost that much voting power. Oh, y'all might say, oh, 1% don't matter. 1% is enough to determine an election. Donald Trump in the swing states won by less than 1%. It's enough to swing elections. There's a Black man on the ballot. Justin is running in Tennessee's ninth district. 50,000 Black men that could have voted for him are no longer a part of that district. And y'all don't believe elections have repercussions. And y'all don't think elections matter. If elections didn't matter, why are they spending so many resources to ensure that your vote don't matter? Why are they splitting districts? Why are they cracking, packing, and stacking districts in this manner? Who told you elections didn't matter? How'd you get comfortable enough to believe that? And then you got people out here pretending that they know what's going on. You ain't heard one person on national TV tell you how Black men political power in Memphis 9th and 5th has been dramatically changed or reduced. But these people will tell you they're experts. You'll listen to CNN, MSNBC, or whatever news station you listen to, and they'll give you some BS about some generic statement. I'm telling you right now, they are eliminating voter power for minority communities, and in this case, particularly Black men. Black men. You ain't heard nobody sound the alarm about that. Nobody's talking about that. We pretend that elections don't have repercussions. Donald Trump went to the G7 today after he went to a wrestling match on the south lawn of the White House, where it is illegal to host sporting events paid for partially by your tax dollars so that Dana White can make a profit. They streamed it on pay-per-view. It should be called paid for by you instead of pay-per-view. Some of y'all can't even afford to watch what your tax dollars just paid for. And y'all don't have a problem with it. They are making a profit off of government, and Black people are dying everywhere. It is documented that over 300,000, and I heard somebody say 800,000 people have died around the world because of the ending of the USAID. And at the same time, in the same cycle, that Elon Musk took money from people working for the federal government who need money to pay their bills, who are living check to check. Donald Trump's policy makes him a trillionaire. A trillionaire. There's never been a trillionaire in the history of the world. And the man that is a trillionaire is bragging about cutting money from poor people. The man who is a trillionaire convinced Donald Trump to create a racist refugee policy for white South Africans, talking about genocide when there is no genocide in South Africa. We are playing video games with people's lives, and they're playing hardball in 3D format. We are literally losing the war. Republicans are stealing elections in this country, in this moment, 2026, in the year of our Lord. This so-called party of conservatism, of principle, of family values are reminding you that none of that is true, nor does it mean shit. They don't give a damn about family values. They only care about, listen to me, I wouldn't lie to you. They only care about power. Power and not power. Because I'm not against people wanting power. If you're trying to use that power for the good, for the benefit of other people, I think you should go get power if that's your mission. But for people who are trying to use power to do the dastardly work like these Republicans are, we should all be losing our minds about that. I am so tired of being in hotels not to relax, but chasing the next problem that's on the right. Fighting, staying in hotels to wake up early to go fight at a state legislature about my right to vote in 2026. And if the Voting Rights Act was so successful, if the Civil Rights Movement was so successful in the 60s, can somebody tell me, can somebody tell me why we still fighting that fight right now? How can the fight from the 60s be so successful and we're still fighting it right now in this moment? And y'all don't understand why I have no space for the bullshit games that Stephen A. Smith played last year. The jokes he make about politics, how he sit around with Republicans. The reason I got a problem with Charlemagne the God sitting around with a white man that he let be racist and laugh about it. The reason why I got a problem with rich men trying to talk at black men who are living on the margins. Why they do nothing. They use none of their platform for the benefit of our people. We are dying because of politics. It's not hyperbole. People that I know that live on fixed income that were getting free medicine in 2020, before January 20, 2025, are now paying for that medication that they can't afford, that they could never afford. These are all political issues. These are all results of an election. We just went to war with Iran, only for this president to make us less safer, to make Iran stronger. The deal that he agreed upon, the one that he tore up, years ago, from that Obama signed because a black man signed it, so he had to tear it up. He literally, I am not joking, more than his wife did with Michelle Obama's speech. He literally took the exact words and put those words into this new deal. So all of that Obama was weak shit, they literally took the exact words that Obama's peace or nuclear deal with Iran and put it in there verbatim. The words are in the deal verbatim. We went to war to get back to where we were 7, 8 years ago, where we could have been further along because we could have had inspectors. Had he not tore up the deal, we could have had inspectors on the ground to ensure that they didn't have nuclear weapons. All of this talk, all of this y'all talking about, oh, Donald Trump, keep it real, or he talks. Donald Trump is a freaking moron. And I want to say something else, but I don't know that I'm so lost at how y'all are not so frustrated with this problem. America has lost itself. Not that it was ever amazing. if you look like me. But for all these struggling and marginalized and well-meaning white people, why are you so quiet? Why are you so quiet? All my white people in Appalachia, in the hollows in Kentucky and Kansas, West Virginia, where y'all at? Why y'all so quiet? Why are these white people who said don't tread on me allowing this white man to tread on you? I thought everybody was equal. That's what y'all said. If everybody was equal, why are they working so hard to take? I thought y'all cared about state rights. If you care about state rights, then why are you not frustrated that the federal government is trying to steal elections? I thought y'all were small government people. Y'all said y'all were small government people. If you were small government people, why are you so comfortable with the Donald Trump's administration doing so much with the federal election when the Constitution says the federal government should have nothing to do with elections except for a little oversight from Congress, and he is not a part of Congress? Where is your words? Where are the white people who care about state rights? Or is it state rights only apply when you can oppress black people? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? So you just using state rights as dog whistle to say racism. And I see the dog, I see the flags, I see the false flags. I see them looking out and winking at y'all when they put in a voter registration or administrative bill, they add something about statues, defacing statues. What's that about? Anybody with a small brain know what that's about. That's about Confederate monuments. I wish we had another Confederate monument in Enfield because it'll be another Confederate monument gone. And every chance, every mayor that has a Confederate monument in their town should take it down. I found out, my wife and I were somewhere last week, and I was talking to some historians, and I found out that I am the only mayor to ever physically tear down a monument in the history of this country. I told the historians and I told my wife, I shouldn't be. And I don't want to be. Some other mayors should join that club. If there's Confederate monuments in your city, you should get rid of them. And if you don't want to do it by hiring a contractor, do it yourself. Call me, I'll come help you. It is a club that we should stop being passive with these people. We know now that the Republican Party, the party of Christian morality, is a lie. They are unchristian. You can't call yourself a Christian party or a party with Christian values when you support Donald Trump, who lies every time he opens his mouth. You can't support Donald Trump and be a Christian. And I don't care if anybody say that there's Christians on both parties. You cannot be a Republican in this moment and witness what's going on and call yourself a Christian, because you can't tell me you're following the principles or the teachings of the man named Jesus Christ. I thought the Bible said something about blasphemy. I thought the Bible said something about blasphemy. I thought we knew better. I thought we knew better. What say you? The don't tread on me crowd, where are you? So don't tread on me doesn't apply when you're being stomped on. As long as the person with the boots on is a white man, it's good. I didn't know. I thought don't tread on me meant all of your rights. I thought you loved this country. How y'all so happy to put on red, white, and blue or drive your big trucks with the big flags? But Donald Trump can tread on the Constitution. Makes me believe symbolism means more than actualism to y'all. Y'all care more about what it looks like than what it is. Y'all care more about the fact that you could put the flag up and say, yeah, we fought for this. This is our right. When in actuality, y'all didn't fight for it. Most of you didn't. And y'all, I like how y'all like to own. Y'all like to pretend that y'all are the most committed to this country. When in actuality, black men join the military at rates higher than anybody in this country. And we always have. Black men, black men volunteer their services to the military more than anybody, any demographic, not excluding anybody in this country. So, as a black man who happened to volunteer myself to the service of this country as a Marine, I get to criticize this motherfucker more than any of y'all with y'all fake patriotism, y'all fake ideas of what it means to be a patriot. Because your definition of patriot has more to do with white supremacy than it does loving this nation. Because you can't be willing to put your life on the line for the Constitution and what this country stands for, and then allow this man to behave the way he does as it pertains to the Constitution. They don't work together. It's incongruent to be a patriot and support Donald Trump. Tearing down buildings, putting up shit, tearing down the White House, not following rule of order, making jokes about how bad the military was, how horrible the military was before him, even though he does nothing, didn't even serve himself. He dodged him and every man in his family before him, dodged military service. Actually, Donald Trump is an American citizen because his ancestors dodged military service in Germany. His granddad dodged military service to get over here. His dad dodged military service to be a Klansman. And y'all call that a patriot? Lets me know where you really stand and what you stand for. Y'all don't care about anything except for whiteness. And America to you really is spelled with three Ks. America, KKK. A. That's how y'all spell America, because your policies, and it's clear, and we knew this anyway, those of us that are paying attention knew this anyway, that your definition of make America great again was make it when white people had to follow no rules as they apply to anybody else. Say it clearer and plainer, Mundell. White people should not have to respect rules or the lived experience of anybody that's not white. That's the greatness that y'all are looking for when y'all talk about make America great again. The idea that you have to listen to or speak to a person of color or answer to them irks your racist spirit, and it's showing in your behavior. And all of you who scream all of these so-called patriotic terms. Wasn't it your hero that said, give me liberty or give me death? You got a president taking liberty. You got a Republican Party afraid to say anything. I know rednecks who would tell me before Donald Trump was president, said they couldn't stand the police. He haul F the law. That's y'all saying. Now y'all act like police are y'all best friend because y'all see police as agents that are killing black men. That's what it's it. That's all it is. That's all it is. Those are your vigilantes in white hoods. They just have blue uniforms now. That's what y'all see. And I'm not saying all police officers are, and I don't need to explain that. I'm just telling you what it is. I don't know why StreamYard is posting that. I hate when they advertise on in my chat. Do not I'm not telling anybody to buy StreamYard. StreamYard don't pay me no money, so I'm not advertising for them. Don't ignore that. Delete that comment if you want to. So, but yeah, um, yeah, man. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, Republicans once again are cannot win an election and know they can't win an election when it's fair. So they'll just redraw. They'll redraw the landscape by creating laws codifying white supremacy in the form of voter suppression. And we'll sit silent. We'll pretend that this isn't a big deal. The mayor from Enfield is running his mouth again. He's always complaining about something. What's our end goal? What's our strategy? How do we move beyond where we are if we're not even holding on to what we had 67 years ago? How are we in the age of AI still fighting the age of black and white? And I ain't talking about race, I'm talking about TV color. Before there was color TV, black people were fighting this fight. Well-meaning white people standing along the side of black people were fighting this fight. How are we fighting it now? Again, how did we lose so much ground that we're fighting the same damn fight that Dr. King was shot in the head for? It's a vulgar statement. It's a vulgar statement. If somebody would have told me as a kid that I would become gray fighting the same fights that Dr. King fought, would be crazy to me to try to wrap my head around that idea. How, Sway? How? I'm not surprised by white supremacy trying to take us there or keep us there. I'm surprised at the lack of answers from our side, the lack of seriousness from people who swear they care about black people, people who swear they care about democracy, people who care or say they care about humanity are allowing 2026 America to become a falling dynasty, a dead democracy, a useless democracy. You have a president bragging about bombing people and taking oil from another country, kidnapping another president, tweeting about anything his small mind can think about with no regard to the ramifications of what happens when the most powerful man on the planet Earth says dumb shit. And surrounded by a courtyard of fucking idiots, useless, breathing bags. Incompetent, smug motherfuckers. What are we gonna do? How are we preparing for what our work looks like? This is what I'm asking you all. Why are we here with no plan? I'm okay being in the mud. I'm okay being in quicksand. I'm okay being in a fucking tidal wave as long as I got a plan to get out. And I don't see the people on our side talking about what that plan looks like. Let me give you a great example. We have 100 counties in North Carolina. Where are our county people that have been trained, that understand what the law is and how to protect people? Where are those people at the county level? By our party. Who's going to stand? Who's been trained to stand at every polling location? Who's raising money to train people to understand what it means to be a watcher, to document what's about to happen with this election? How many people are we going to have at each polling location? What shifts are they going to work? All of the funds, what they're going to steal this election. That's what I'm afraid of. And y'all spending money running regular ass ads like this a normal election. Y'all still running ads like people want to hear you on TV spend money with the same people that are helping oppress our vote. Stop spending money on TV ads and it wouldn't be that expensive. You can spend the money on the people, engaging the people. Fire consultants who are telling you to buy ads. Fire any consultant telling you to spend money on TV. I bet you can win an election without TV. I bet you can't win an election without engaging people. You want to know how I know? We just spent $1 billion on a presidential election and spent most of that money on TV and lost. We spent none of that money with people on the ground, engaging people on the ground and lost. You all are not serious about what it takes to win this election. What you are serious about is ensuring that your friends have another way to make more money in this election cycle, just like they did last election cycle, even if it's at the expense of Black people's lives. And that to me is disgusting. And it's also why so many Black men says, your politics. Y'all want people to come up here and put on a suit and talk stupid. Oh, there's an orange monster in the White House. Yeah, but he's there because you guys ain't giving people a reason to fight. You're not addressing their problems. You're not even speaking to their issues. And you want people to show up and pretend that what you got going on is going to save them or make them better. And that same old bullshit line that this is the most important election of our lives means nothing. And the sad part about it is this probably is the most election, but you can't make nobody buy that because y'all been saying it about every election. And so we sit idle with the politics. And when I say politics, I'm talking about our structure, our electoral work that looks as stale as it did in the 60s. That's why we're fighting problems from the 60s. Because if we had a 21st century strategy, we could not ever find ourselves in this position. If we had programs and policies and we spoke regular people speak, there's no way that we would not be further along than we are now. We should have codified the Voting Rights Act when we had the opportunity. We should have ended the filibuster when we had the opportunity. Y'all are disgusting when it comes to this work. And you don't want to tell the truth. Y'all don't want to tell the fucking truth, man. Y'all got me out here looking 50 something and I'm only 47. And people like, oh, you can't fight every fight. That way of thinking got us here. We are obligated to fight every fight we can, dude. When we stop fighting some fights, we set ourselves up to leave people that have less ability, smaller voices, or the inability to stand for themselves. We leave them out. And that to me sounds cowardly. We got to do better. We need to break the algorithm, and I ain't talking about online. We need to break the algorithm of the real world where the status quo has a hold on what we do and our thinking, what we believe is possible. We believe the power exists in politicians. And I know that to be true because I hear people say all the time, oh, my vote don't matter. Or we'll say something like, they're gonna do what they want to do anyway. How does somebody that works for you get to do what they're going to do anyway, and you feel comfortable? Your answer is, "Oh well, let them be," instead of, "Oh, I'm gonna do everything to unelect them motherfuckers." For people who care so much about what you ain't gonna do to me, we talking about people on our side now. We allow a lot of shit to happen without preparing to fight back. Donald Trump is a punch in the face. What? You never been punched before? Get up and fight. The re-election of Donald Trump is a punch in the gut. Get your breath back and get back in the fucking fight. Democracy is gone. Now we get to build from the ashes. All y'all motherfuckers said tear it down and start over. This is the start over. All you motherfuckers that said start over, this is the start over. Where are you? Donald Trump has torn it down. Now let's start over. But starting over requires you to be at the table. So what's your plan to get to the table now that we are at the ground level? We've seen behind the curtains of democracy. We've seen this so-called bullshit experiment in the 250 year that it's been running. It's been exposed. Now we know what's possible and how far you can stretch it. What is your plan? So all of you people that said burn it to the ground, it's there now. Now what? Now what? I'm Mundell Robinson, and I'm really looking for an answer to the now what. Somebody needs to answer that. Peace.